We ready? I'd like to call this meeting of the Festus City Council to order. Roll call, please.
Councilman Boyer,
Here.
Councilman Collier,
Here.
Councilwoman Templeton,
Here.
Councilman Weiner,
Here.
Councilman Dennis, Councilman Benz,
Here.
Councilman Cook,
Here.
Councilman Tenen.
We do have a quorum. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Tonight's bills total $491,229.62. So moved. Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Cook,
Yep.
Councilman Benz,
Yes.
Councilman Weiner,
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton,
Yes.
Councilman Boyer,
Yes.
Councilman Collier.
Yes. Motion passes. Remarks of visitors.
None.
We have none this evening.
Gentleman from St. Pius.
He's on the agenda.
I beg your
under new
pardon.
business.
Yeah. That's a new business. Tonight we have two bids to take care of. The first bid is for engineering services for Weiss Design Group, the animal control facility and a salt storage facility design. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Before you, this evening, I'm requesting approval for a motion for engineering contracts with Weiss Design Group for not to exceed $9,000 for the animal control and $10,000 for the salt storage design. Both of these are capital improvement projects. Both of these are within the bid scope for the project. I just need a little bit of help with some engineering. As my memorandum explains, I published for qualifications. I only got a single response. Greg and I reviewed it and determined it did not meet our needs. I reached out to an engineering firm that I've used in the past, one familiar with municipal projects, particularly one that knows something about salt storage and working with AstroTurf, synthetic turf material. So Weiss has provided us a bid for both those services, and I'd like to proceed. I'd like to get both those projects done. You might recall the project in animal control is to convert the asphalt area inside the fence, or at least most of it, to an AstroTurf area where the dogs can recreate. That AstroTurf is too hot for their pads and their feet. So most of the summertime, they can't get out and there's too many dogs for Jason to walk. And so this allows him to let the dogs out and to recreate, get their stress levels down. They can still potty on it and we can hose it off and make it sanitary. The second design project is for the secondary salt storage. Again, it's to review last few years of our salt storage, our salt usage, determine what size of additional storage we need, and then most importantly, guys, where to put it. Our idea as staff is to put it out near well 10 someplace. A good portion of that is in the floodway or a flood zone. There is an area that's that'd be north of the drive lane that heads back to well 10 that is out of the flood area, and that's the area we're kind of focusing on, but I need some help with some engineering to squeeze that in here. Weiss just did a similar project for the city of Shrewsbury that was similar, where they built the building into the side of a hill with some water concerns, some stormwater concerns. And so I'm confident they can help us with both these tasks. So the animal control will be built this year with the funds that remain. The salt storage I'll bring back to you guys next year as part of our capital requests. So whatever they suggest, we'll come back to you. So
that salt storage would be on the, up against the bluff?
yes, sir. Kind of cut into the bluff.
Yeah,
That's our idea. But again, that's just what we've kind of figured out as a starting point. He may determine that we can put it someplace else.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been back there a few times because filling that generator up, but I understand, like you said, you don't have much option on the left. It is dangerous.
Yeah, it goes off.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Matt, did you verify? Because I know the flood maps have changed. I don't know if GIS is accurate completely around. So did you go to FEMA's website to verify the special hazards?
I did. In fact, Mark grabbed the map off the website for me and provided it to the engineer for before he gave his fee estimate.
And then last dumb question. I know we advertised for RFQ. Nobody did bid on it. Does reaching out to one engineering firm to get bids, does that keep us within our ordinance where we require 3?
I think I satisfied the ordinance by doing the bid. It was non-responsive. And so we went to the second level. So I consider that meeting the requirement. There were no valid responses. And we've got these projects we got to get done.
I can chime in too. The ordinance regarding engineering contracts does allow the council to, in its sole discretion, waive the procedural requirements, and this would be a circumstance in which the council could decide to do so.
Okay, so building doesn't, you don't see engineering for building construction, capital improvements, it's still okay.
Yeah, it's an engineering contract is how our code.
Is there any other discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the engineering contracts with Weiss Design Group not to exceed 9,000 for the animal control facility improvements and 10,000 for salt storage facility design.
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Boyer,
Yes.
Councilman Collier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton,
Yes.
Councilman Weiner,
Yes.
Councilman Benz,
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Our next project is for the 2023 asphalt overlay project.
Well, it's that exciting time of year again, Mayor and Council, when we get to begin to improve our roads. Before you this evening is we're contemplating the improvement of Hillcrest Drive, England Drive, Booth, Old Buck Creek, Pounds, Hillsborough, and Huber, Abel, Caldwell, Bauman, and Cave Industrial. And in addition to those, at your place this evening, I put an addendum or it's not really a change order since we haven't adopted a contract yet, but it'd be an ad because we're in the fortuitous situation where we actually have money left on the table. Our budget was $716,500. The low and only bid we received was $529,000 for the aforementioned improvements. I'd like your permission to add Sunshine Drive from Hillsborough Road down the hill or towards the city limits to the bridge. So that section, I believe, is probably the worst section of the road, although there are some bad parts beyond there. Add that for $139,000. That would bring our total investment this year to $668,764.50, still under our $716,000 budget, leaving about $47,000 in that fund in the case of there being any change orders or unforeseen circumstances once they start tearing those streets up. So I don't like doing this at the last minute. Normally this would have been an updated memo and we would have consolidated this all together for you guys a little bit neater. But Grant Jokerst has a project in Herculaneum. The equipment's going to be close by. He'd like to start sometime this month. So I didn't want to delay, didn't want to lose the opportunity to get our streets started on. So that is the end of my report. I'm happy to take some
Hey,
questions.
Matt. Which everybody's probably seen it, even Doug's seen it probably, and please, you're going down Sunshine to Larry Kreitz Park. Everyone at the fires, especially at the fireworks festival. With the street going down and the bike path right there together. Is there gonna be any kind of curbing? Because people just seem to pull their vehicles over, park on the bike path, not only the bike path, but the street. And is there any way to kind of stop that from?
To kind of delineate the traffic a little bit better.
Yeah, because I mean,
I
it's just,
think we can. I think the reason it was left the way it is because there's not stormwater.
right,
Well, there's not any formal stormwater controls on that section of the roadway. And so the water needs to be able to shear off the road surface across that bike path into the grass.
Well,
And
not only that, it's just safety. If people are
Right.
walking and somebody would come over, there's nothing there that's so flat. You
we
pretty
could
much-
try some reflectors, some of those low.
Curbing or I don't know, something just to keep.
Yeah, I don't think we can put curbing again because of the stormwater, but I can try some low reflectors, and if those don't do the trick, we can try some taller ones. Josh is here. It's something we've talked about before. I hate seeing the UPS and the Amazon driver parked on our
Bike path.
bike path too,
Yeah.
because it's not really built for,
I know you see it every time, always, that's at the fireworks, that's the biggest time, but I mean, you
Right.
see it, people just take it, I don't know, it's sad,
Yeah.
but they seem to always.
I don't know. Would reflectors be cool with you, Josh?
Be fine, no,
How much of a deterrent that'd be?
Yeah,
I mean, but we don't go put concrete ballards or anything.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's-
The only other option would be like we did down the walking trail with a 6x6 post and like a decorative chain. You know, maybe right next to the bike path. That way there's still a little bit of a shoulder.
Yeah.
yeah.
on the, you know, and then just a barrier in between the actual bike / walking path and sunshine.
Let me look and see if I can find some products and I'll bring it back to
Yeah,
you
I
guys.
just, you see people,
Yeah.
take advantage of.
There's pedestrian
especially at that
safety.
time.
Absolutely.
Matt, just along that line, we've discussed in the past, probably before you were here. It feels like it's a safety problem, like Bobby was saying there. So I think some markers at a minimum would help.
Okay.
Also on the opposite side of that, though, on the left-hand side, as you're going down the road, I've had several people give me input about the perceived danger there of that drop off also.
I have to. I have
So-
to. It needs a guardrail. It's just that would be such an expense
Sure.
to be able to put that on there, but
Is there
maybe some
something,
stakes on both sides. You know,
is there
there's-
something in between that we could do to,
I think I'll research and see what I can try to find that we could augment the safety on both sides.
okay, I think anything would be an improvement and it'd be appreciated.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, Matt, last question.
Yes, sir.
On Sunshine, since they're gonna redo that, I'm sorry, I can't get a visual. How far? Are they going past the park on the overlay?
No, sir. They're going to stop at the bridge. So at that first bridge approach at the bottom of the hill, they're going to stop right there. So it'll just be that downhill side. So westbound.
Is there any way we can consider restriping the crosswalk there? Cause I'm getting a lot of concerns about that as well.
I think Josh is already in process on that.
Set of paint used plastic, yeah, it's gonna last a lot longer and something.
Yep, no problem.
All right. Is there any other discussion?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay,
It's almost a $200,000 difference between what the bid was or what the budget was and what the bid is. And I know nobody else provided a bid, but I guess my concern is why is it such a large difference? And is it going to be, I know in the past we've had talks about the measuring was off and this was off and that was off.
Right.
And I just don't want to see that we were spending this money and come back and it's actually going to end up more than what the bid was for.
Right. Well, it won't be a repeat of last year's situation. I can guarantee you that was an oversight and it was it's my fault. But this measurement is much more precise and we don't have the kind of delta that we're going to have that we had last year with the concrete. The concrete was too nebulous. This is much more finite. It's defined much better. Yeah. Lesson learned from last year.
is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve a bid of $668,764.50 to
Jokerst.
Joker's Paving.
So moved.
Second,
Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Cook,
Yep.
Councilman Benz, Councilman Weiner,
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton,
yes,
Councilman Boyer,
Yes.
Councilman Collier.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you all.
Ordinances and resolutions. Tonight, we have Bill 4720 on the agenda. Would the clerk please read the bill for the first time?
Bill number 4720, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, amending section 205.090 fines and fees in the municipal code of the City of Festus, Missouri, and establishing an effective date.
Bill 4720 is now open for discussion. Can we have a staff report, please?
Yes, sir, happily. Mayor and council, before you is at least the first time in my tenure I can recall us ever discussing a change in fees. And this is one that I tried to research to see when the last time we changed fees. I could not locate it, but I believe it's been many, many, many years ago. This was precipitated by actually one of the veterinarians that we use said, you guys realize that my fees are going up and you're going to have to increase your fees in order to pay for this, these services. And he was right. We hadn't adjusted the fees in a long time. And we were really, taxpayers were subsidizing the adoption and care of some of the animals in our services. And, you know, in some respect, there is a benefit to taxpayers, residents in the community, of making sure that the animals that are in our care are, you know, healthy and being properly cared for. So there actually is, you know, some benefit, but I don't believe that that they should be subsidizing it to the effect that they were. And so what this does is it reduces that subsidy. It gets the costs a little bit more close to what the fees are that we're being charged. And it puts our budget back into a better position. You might recall at the last budget, when we adopted this year's budget, animal control was very, very lean. We were very, very close to coming into the budget in an imbalance, and revenue is one of those things that affects that. So our costs are pretty static, guys. We got to buy dog food. We got to pay for the lights to be on. So we really need to have some increased fees to help us offset the cost for doing business. I included both copies for you in the ordinance. So you see a red line version showing what was and what I'm proposing, and then you've got a clean version with the bill number attached.
Matt, what is the estimated savings per year with these additional rates for fees?
You know, it varies so much. This year we've had a really, really, really heavy year. And I think it's because a lot of folks got dogs and cats during COVID and now decide they don't want dogs and cats during COVID. So our usage has really gone up this year. So I don't have an estimate for you. I'm sorry, Brian.
Hey, Matt, I support this. I think it's long overdue. My only complaint is we took $1,000 from animal control last year, and they're usually donations heavy, and we're seeing donations dry up. I'd like to see their budget a little more firm and not so much rely on donations when the budget comes to the council next year.
Understood.
I don't think that's really fair to animal control, and I do agree with you. And probably a good 40% of my phone calls are animal control related.
Yeah, that man stays
So,
busy.
yeah, if you can keep that in your mind when we do the budget, and let's
Okay.
not rely on donations for their budget, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
As a pet owner, I mean, to me, those prices still seem more than fair.
Well, we get reduced prices from the veterinarians that we work
But
with.
still, I mean,
Right.
if they were taking care of their animals, and I realize some people can't afford to take care, I get that.
Yeah.
But I don't know that, I mean, if you raise it to $30 from 25, if, you know, it still to me seems very fair,
It is.
because I can tell you, I'm not paying that.
Yeah, I know.
So,
We really get very good veterinary care from folks that work with us. So we are really blessed to have those kind of relationships. I mean, you, in your experience, you know it. I mean, it's tough.
is that something that we can revisit the costs a
Absolutely.
little bit more frequently, just
Yeah.
because everything is going up a minimum of 3% a year
Right.
plus, so
Yeah.
I don't want to leave them in a lurch for what they
And
need.
like Mike said, we can't depend on donations.
No.
I'd rather be asking for donations for capital improvements or for, you know, niceties than, you know, what we need to keep, again, buy dog food and keep the lights on.
We still have adoption procedures and all that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then fees for picking them up.
Absolutely.
What about euthanasia?
That's a last resort. That's a last resort. We do have some injured animals that do have to be euthanized. The mean ones, there are a rare occasion when one, by determination of a veterinarian, is not salvageable, that you know, the dog is extinguished, but that is it. Very, very rare.
Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, is there any council member that'd like to have this bill carried over to the next meeting?
So moved. Was that not two or two carried over?
To carry over. Do you?
Oh,
want to carry
no,
it
I don't
over?
want to carry it over. I'd
Okay.
like to have it read for the second time.
Okay. If not, may I have a motion to suspend the rules and read Bill 4720 for the second time in title only? That's been made.
Guessing this guy.
I need a second. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, would you please read Bill 4720 for the second time?
Bill number 4720, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, amending section 205.090 fines and fees in the municipal code of the City of Festus, Missouri, and establishing an effective date. Councilman Benz.
Yeah.
Councilman Cook,
Yep.
Councilman Weiner,
Yes.
Councilman Collier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton,
Yes.
Councilman Boyer.
Yes.
Bill 4720 has passed.
Thank you all.
Moving right along, new business. St. Pius High School parade request.
You can step.
You can come right at.
So how you doing? I'm the president over there, Jim Lane. And I guess the agenda says what we're trying to request here. For the last 3 years, we've had the parade. It comes from Our Lady, heads down through Main Street right by here, hits 61, 67 and goes back to the school. Started during the COVID stuff because you couldn't have a normal graduation. It's turned into a great success and we're just asking permission if we could do it again and have a escort as well. And it's funny because we haven't had to do this in the past. Does anyone know why we haven't had to do this?
We're changing the way we're doing
It's okay.
things.
I know why. I was being facetious. It's okay. No, I was gonna blame it on Tim, actually. I'm like, thanks, Tim. Anyhow, so any question, or I really don't know the formality here. So is there any questions or anything?
Chief, we good?
Yeah, but basically what the reason he's in front of you tonight is anytime we're having any type of a parade upcoming that's a planned event. I'm requesting that it be brought in front of the council because one, you're slowing traffic down, you're blocking intersections, you are opening the city up to some form of liability, however slim that it is. So I was wanting to give the council an opportunity to weigh in on all of these events. So that way, if anything does happen, it's not something that you guys, ladies and gentlemen, are aware of. And it's not, oh, why are we doing this? So we have no issues doing it. The only thing I ask is you reach out to Crystal City and let them know because we'll be entering their venue once we get down to Main and Bailey.
We will do that.
But, you know, there's no issue from us as far as doing it.
And
I just want to make sure the city council has the knowledge of what's going on and any questions they may have, they can have answered before it's approved.
Okay,
and obviously on behalf of St. Pius, thanks for giving us the opportunity to come up here and ask for this. I just found out this week, I'm like, hey, go do this. So, okay, sorry, go ahead.
well, sure. I will entertain a motion to approve the request of St. Pius High School for a parade for their graduating seniors.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. Have a good parade.
So much. Am I good to go?
Yes.
I can stay and watch. I gotta stay till the end. I don't think I can.
Okay, the next thing on new business is a liquor license for LaChance Vineyards. LaChance Vineyards for Twin City Days. Staff report.
LaChance Vineyards is going to have a booth at Twin City Days, and they need to start preparing for their city, county, and state liquor licenses. They did this last year, and they're just requesting to do it again.
Any problems with that, Chief?
Not at all.
Any discussion?
You need to sample it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd sell you something. You would have.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, could I have a motion to approve the request for a temporary license for LaChance Vineyards for Twin City Days?
I'll move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. Old business.
We have none.
We have no old business. Councilman Boyer,
I have nothing at this time, sir.
Councilman Weiner.
Just a couple things. I noticed up at the, at Collins in West Main, that daycare center, they're putting up a fence there right now. It looks like they're getting closer to opening. And I'm still on my safety bandwagon with concerned about if there's just that one fence right there, and the fence is perhaps 20 feet from Main Street, maybe something like that. And if there's if that is the only barrier between children and that traffic, hopefully I'm going to see something else, or we're going to see something else up there. So just at first glance, I'm a little just reserved in my observation of what I'm seeing.
I'm kind of reserved in that same thing, Councilman, because they have that fence up and that play area up and eliminated all the parking on that side of that building. And I'm not sure that that's such a good idea. I wonder, and Mark's not here this evening, if they've put in any kind of request for us for a permit to put that, to fence that off.
I'll check into that, sir. I don't know.
That would take a variance from the variance board. If you think about it, because you're eliminating parking spots for commercial structure.
Very well could.
Yeah, I'll
If you could check on it and follow it up and give me a call.
I will, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, it's just about the safety of the kids. So thank you for your insight with that. Something that nobody wants to talk about, but I just have to say something about, and that's the homeless situation again. I was down at the store today, my store, looking out the back, and I noticed underneath where the where you can post for yard sales, et cetera. Yeah. And underneath there, I thought that looks like a person. And like 3 hours later, that person was still there. And so I called, I know, but it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I called the police and he did move. So, I mean, we're going to have to, I don't know if it was an easy thing to do, we would have done it, but I mention it because something has to be done. Congratulations to Greg for his 6 years here. I was reading that in tonight's bulletin. And Chief Wendell, congratulations. I wasn't here last time when you were sworn in here. So congratulations on that. Thank you for the getting everyone with the parades in here for that also, because we've had surprises where people are having parades and we don't know about it, and people are crossing.
Anything that I'm made aware of prior to, I'm gonna request that they come in front of council.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, great communication. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Councilman Cook.
Thank you. Just a couple quick things. Brian, Matt, and probably Greg. I don't want to get in a deep conversation on it. Just food for thought. We approved the Hampton Inn now almost 6 years ago, and it's time for something to be done. That's just my view on it. I'm requesting the council to think about this, and the mayor. At least when I voted on it and we offered chapter 100, I thought the enticement was there. They were gonna get going. I had no idea it was going to be such a long delayed project. So if you guys and ladies can keep that in your mind and maybe have a discussion on it, if we don't get the developer going, maybe it's time the city kind of use what tools we have available. So if you can think about that, I appreciate it. And then last but not least, I already talked to Chief and talked to Matt. Thank you both. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Councilman Collier.
Okay, I'm gonna touch on an old subject, the Gamble Cemetery Road and Pounds Road. I've been getting some complaints of noise. It seems that a lot of these big trucks, the dump trucks especially, come through there about 4 or 5 in the morning, and they like to jack brake. which you know how much noise that causes, and it's kind of waking up all the citizens there. I would like to know if we could maybe look into putting some kind of a noise ordinance through that area. I noticed up at Herky, they've got it on Highway 61 and 67, a sign, and see if we could kind of curtail some of the noise. Now, as far as the other complaints, I don't know if there's anything else we can do with that. So I'd like to know if, whoever needs to kind of look into that about putting a no ordinance sign through there. It is residential. They shouldn't be making all that noise.
Yeah.
Going through the residential area. And the other one is still another old one. It's the Mueller-Roy fiasco with the parking on both sides of the street. I know Chief Broomball was checking on it, and I think you came up with that it would be difficult to get fire trucks or ambulances through there if they're parked on both sides of the street. Would it be possible if we would put a no parking on one side of the street like we do on Mill Street? To maybe open that up some to where it would be a little easier for emergency vehicles and school buses and other large vehicles to get through there. And that's all I got.
I'll give Greg and we'll see about drawing up an ordinance or something to make that no parking on one side. Have to figure out which side is the best side, best suited for that.
Well, we could check with the chief there and find out what would be best as far as this, mostly for the safety vehicles. The other one, as far as the school bus where they're coming out of Roy and going up the hill. I don't know if we did put the no parking back away from the stop sign, so that eliminated that. It's just once you get on Mueller, you can't get through there. All right, thank you. That's all I got.
All right, thank you, sir. Councilwoman Templeton.
So to touch on what Councilman Weiner had talked about, the daycare facility. I think you had said that they have to, by code, they have, or by whatever ordinance or whatever it is for them, by structure of the state, they have to have a playground of some sort. So my concern is, of course, the kids that are in that play area, but I'm more concerned about where do they think people are dropping these kids off at? Are they going to do like buses and try to stop in the street? Because as it is right now, you have probably a car length before you have a utility pole and a tether. Are they just planning on pushing people out through? I just don't see that it's going to be a nightmare for those two gentlemen sitting at that table.
Yeah.
Because that's such a busy intersection in the morning and the afternoon. So to have people that are slowing down or they're going to try to back out onto West Main, also not a good choice. So, I mean, I know we had a lot of reservations when it all happened. And the other thing, I've had some questions from people that live close to there about what's going on. Because there are people there all hours of the day and night, and they don't quite understand what all of that is. And then the other one is a thank you to the police department. So I go to Planet Fitness frequently, and generally the staff in there are younger people. So they've been having some problems with the neighborhood youth using the back parking lot as their hangout place. And I went in and there was like 13 cars out back. And I talked to the assistant manager, and she said they'd already called, that Festus had already been there, told them some things that needed to happen and to make sure and call, so, and it looks like there was a pretty good party out there over the weekend, judging by the burnouts and the beer cans. So, but I appreciate you getting there quickly for those young people that are they don't need to be out there rushing those kids off. That needs to be, I realize it's private property, but
So we still have the authority to ask them to leave with the property owner's request, so as long as they call us and let us know what's going on.
But the employees were very thankful that it was such a quick response to them, because being in their early 20s, that's a very awkward situation, that these are kids that are out back that are probably their age. So they didn't want to have to deal with it. I'm glad they didn't have to. So, and they said corporate is working on getting signs out back and all around it for the no loitering over there. So, but thank you for that. That's it.
All right, thank you, Councilman Vince. Good. Amazing.
Feel good.
Well, I think everybody has brought up some good things that we need to talk about, need to look at. And I think things are going well. I've been talking to Chief Wendell, and he's redoing his office. And I understand that. And all the cameras in the dispatch are just amazing. We really did some good work. You all approved whatever it was that we approved to get those cameras. And it has been well worth it. The dispatchers are just tickled to death to be able to see everything around, and they can see at the fire department and they can see down on Fifth Street.
And at my building too.
Yes. So I think we're making progress here. Is there anybody else has anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. We are adjourned.
I don't know what kind of clock you got.
Yeah.